at my clock. I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
My thoughts on the Hozuki Castle arc. All right, now first things first, I do want to point this out. I know this is not an individual arc. I know it's like kind of attached to the Mujina Bandits. I know some people were going to comment that, but regardless, just because it had like an individual plot, an individual setting, and just an individual mission regarding to the Hozuki Castle. Now first things first, the Hozuki Castle arc was definitely a decent arc, but I think it wasn't really received well. If it was a standalone arc, if it was not attached to the Mujina Bandits and all the expectations that the Mujina Bandits had, I think this arc would have definitely been received a lot better than it was. This arc, in my opinion, really introduced a new feel to the Boruto anime that we didn't really have before, and really it was just the tension. Now of course we've seen tension before in like animes like Naruto Shippuden and also Naruto. This arc pretty much played into that, but on a larger scale. Almost the whole arc of the Hozuki Castle arc was all tension. There was really rarely any action, and it really only happened at the end of the arc. It honestly felt like an anime of Death Note or Promised Neverland. Now something that correlates directly off of the tension of this arc has to be the plot twist. There was two major plot twists in this arc that I'm pretty sure no one really expected. The first one was really earlier on in the arc. This is basically when we found out that whoever tried to kill Kokuri, first of all, they had no accuracy at all. They pretty much ran directly up to Kokuri and missed everything, missed all the vital spots. But regardless, whoever that person was going to be in the cell, mainly because the wooden key card that was stolen from the medical personnel could have only been stolen when Boruto passed out from the corona. We've had plot twists before in Boruto, but I feel like the Boruto writers understood that this was definitely going to be an arc where it's really going to be needed, mainly because there was just not a lot of action. During the first plot twist, everybody was pretty much scrambling to find out exactly who backstabbed Boruto and everybody else. The overwhelming thought was going to be Arai, mainly because Arai was just too buddy with Boruto, and it seemed super obvious. But also we had Kamada, a 16-year-old, which was a proven thief already, but also we had Kidama, which had pretty much not said anything thus far. So that right there is definitely a very good plot twist. And at the end, the plot twist of all plot twists, we found out that the boss of the Mujina Bandits actually took the body of the number 2 of the Mujina Bandits, then at the end took the body of Kokuri and pretty much pretended like he was Kokuri, and then got away scot-free with his corpse clone jutsu. No one really expected that this was going to happen, and it really just showed the impact and the potency of the corpse clone jutsu that the number 1 of the Mujina Bandits actually has. And just off of that, we gained so much respect of the number 1 of the Mujina Bandits, mainly because he fooled and duped all of us into thinking that he was not there, and just gave us that respect of the corpse clone jutsu, mainly because we understand that now he can possibly be anybody. The character development in this arc was absolutely amazing. I think this is definitely an area that Boruto has kind of been lacking in a lot of their other arcs. Like honestly, a character like Hidama probably had more character development than Inojin, and it all started with Arai. Now of course we didn't really get a lot of character development with Arai, mainly because he was extremely secretive with his. Like we all know, he was the person that kind of backstabbed Boruto and was secretly working with the Mujina Bandits and was trying to actually off Kokuri, but just his character at the beginning felt so comforting and also gave the audience a feeling of uneasiness, mainly because we thought that he could possibly be in the Mujina Bandits. Like the second character that we really felt the connection to was Kamada. Now Kamada, my guy, my boy, the big blood, the Uncle Kamada, he really stepped up for the team and he really put on for the show. Basically showed that he wasn't a snitch, he wasn't no 6ix9ine nigga. Even though Boruto got the corona, he still stuck with Boruto through thick and thin. Kamada basically had a very strong relationship with his sister. It turns out that he was in jail and he was pretty much writing letters to his sister like, yo, I'm respected, things like that. And of course his sister was extremely sick. She was in his children's hospital. He was trying to basically get her surgery. She got the surgery and everything, but now he wanted to pretty much visit her, and it seemed like he really couldn't do that if he didn't snitch on Boruto. And if he didn't snitch on Boruto, he'd be thrown like under the jail, like he'd be in solitary confinement with the number 2 Tsukiyo. So it really just showed Kamada's character of staying loyal. And one of the best scenes that we did see was when Kamada was actually in solitary confinement. He pretty much said like, now I could tell my sister I stood up against someone huge, like a big boss or something like that. And that was just a very great scene. And now of course the last one, Kadama, this right here was definitely a very good character in this arc. Kadama just felt like an outlier. He just felt like a nobody when we first started the arc because he didn't really talk to anybody. He didn't make any noise. He didn't make any motions. Mitsuki really made an effort to try to talk to Kadama and basically be his friend. And then we found out that he was a snitch, or quote unquote fake snitch. Everybody was extremely up in arms. All the Boruto fan bases kind of hated his character. But then when we really got to know him and found out his character, a lot of the Boruto fans liked him a lot. And I think overall overall, he might be the most liked character that we did meet during this arc, and that definitely does say something, man, because we started this arc completely not caring about him. And I really think that says something about the boruto writers, how they're progressing and how they're learning to pretty much build up the characters of the other characters. And that might just be mainly because this arc was a little bit more intense, mainly because it does come directly from the boruto manga, not necessarily directly, but of course it is attached to the Mujina Bandits arc, and of course just off of that it had a more serious tone. One thing that definitely goes hand in hand with the character development and why we didn't really see a lot of character development with some of the boruto characters in the past, especially some of the main characters that we have in the new generation, the characters of this arc, they've been through stuff. Like, for example, a character like Inojin, I'm sorry to keep picking on Inojin, but Inojin hasn't really been through anything. Like, he's just a kid, you know, he has good parents. In contrast to a character like Baara, his character was super interesting at first. Like, literally his father tried to assassinate him. Like, just off of that made us have so much respect for Baara. But as I said, in comparison to Inojin, it's just not that interesting, man, because he hasn't really been through a lot. But all in all, as I said at the beginning of the video, it was definitely a very good arc. It was just a little bit, I should say, unexpected. A lot of people kind of thought that we were going to get a lot more backstory about the Mujina Bandits and see exactly what Boruto and everybody else were doing before we actually started the Mujina Bandits arc, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. But it was still like a pleasant surprise. But let me know what you guys think about this arc in the comment section below. It's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.